My brain just shut off suddenly. Hello, good morning, or good evening, whenever you are watching this. I hope you are doing well. My name is Catherine, and today let's talk about my most anticipated releases of 2021. So many books that I am just so excited for coming out in 2021. There are a ton of sequels of books that I didn't even know that they were gonna have sequels, which is super exciting. There are a lot of books from authors that I love and a couple authors that I haven't read anything from, but I've seen synopsis of the books, I've seen them advertised, and they just look really cute or really fun. So let's start off talking about the sequels. First of all, coming out on January 12th is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This is a prequel to The Hate U Give, and it is about Star's father. Maverick is such a fascinating character in The Hate U Give. He was involved with a gang, but he turned his life around, and he will do anything and everything for his kids. I am so excited to read this book. It takes place in the 90s. As a 90s kid, I am stoked. She says I'm a 90s kid. She's born in the 90s. I don't remember anything about the 90s, but you know, I love everything that Angie Thomas has put out, and having heard her do different interviews about Concrete Rose, you can tell how much love and care has gone into this book and how much she just genuinely loves her characters. So I am so excited to read it. Next, on January 19th is We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faizal. This is the sequel to We Hunt the Flame. We Hunt the Flame was a really interesting book, particularly the magic system. It is a fantasy set in like a Middle Eastern type world. I am loving reading more fantasies that aren't set in our Western culture. I'm very excited to find out what happens. We were left on quite the cliffhanger, so very stoked. The next book is a book that I didn't even know is going to be happening until fairly recently, and that is Winter Keep by Kristen Cashore. This is the fourth installment in the Graceling universe. So this takes place 4 years after Bitter Blue. I'm probably going to have to reread the rest of the books because I don't totally remember everything that happened because I read them like 5 years ago. Yeah, like 5 years ago. In the Graceling realm, you have people who are like born with special abilities called Gracelings, and you can tell that they're Gracelings because they have like two different colored eyes, which is something that like from a very young age I was fascinated by. I think I saw a picture of David Bowie and I was like, I wish I had that. It is filled with so many twists and turns. I love Kristen Cashore's writing style. I think her writing is beautiful. That book comes out on January 19th as well. Next, on February 2nd is All the Tides of Fate by Adeline Grace. This is the sequel to All the Stars and Teeth. I have such a complicated relationship with All the Stars and Teeth. I loved it up until like the last quarter of the book. I still want to know what is happening in the world. I am really hoping that that last quarter was just like a fluke. Basically, really great development, really cool world building, amazing magic system, and then you get to that last quarter and everything moved unnecessarily fast. I'm like, honestly, you could have put this in the second book and developed it a lot slower and it would have been fine. So I'm interested to see what happens and if it gets back to like that world building that I loved in the first part of the book. Next is a book that, no shame, gotta put on here, and that is A Court of Silver Flames. Not A Court of Silver and Flames, because you gotta break tradition apparently, by Sarah J. Maas. This is the fourth book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series universe, but it's specifically going to focus on Nesta, who is a fascinating character. There is so much like discourse about Nesta's character in like on Book Talk, which is so interesting. A lot of people are like, if you don't like Nesta, it's because of internalized misogyny, and then other people are like, no, she was actually a really shitty sister, and I'm like, I see both sides. Either way, I think she's a fascinating character. I think that she has potential to go through a lot of development, and I'm really hoping that Sarah J. Maas like learns from criticisms that she's been getting and hopefully improves. That's always my hope with authors, is that they like read criticisms and don't get like crazy defensive and instead like learn. Next on March 9th is Ravenge the Dark by Tara Sim. This is the sequel to Scavenge the Stars, which is a Count of Monte Cristo retelling, which is so cool. I haven't read Count of Monte Cristo, but I watched the movie and I really liked it. I loved the first book. I thought it was fascinating. I loved the world that it took place in. I love it when it's characters who are from like the lower class who are able to like pass as upper class and kind of fool everyone and make a fool of all of them and ruin their lives. It's a weird trope, but it happens weirdly often. Coming out on March 16th is Namesake by Adrian Young. This is the sequel to Fable. I absolutely loved Fable. I got the arc for it. I didn't get the arc for Namesake, which I'm a little bitter about, but it's fine. I understand. We'll give everyone an opportunity and chance to read the books. It's fine. I love Adrian Young's writing. I love her characters and her world building. I will say that her books aren't always like the most action-packed, but that's okay because her characters are so fascinating that it never gets boring. Coming out on March 30th is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to King of Scars, which follows Prince Nikolai, who makes appearances in both the Grisha trilogy and Six of Crows duology, maybe trilogy. Supposedly there's a third book coming out. I don't want to keep my hopes up because like it'll hurt me if it never comes out. But yeah, this is the second book. The first book I really love because I love Zoya and I love Nikolai, but not as much happened as I hoped. So I'm really hoping that it really like picks up in the second book, and it is only a duology, so it should. Nina is in it, and I love Nina. I will do anything for Nina Zenik. On April 6th is Blessed Monsters by Emily A. Duncan. This is the third book in the Wicked Saints trilogy. At least I'm pretty sure it's a trilogy. I don't think she's writing 4 books. I'm pretty sure it's just 3. I loved the first book, Wicked Saints. I haven't read the second book yet, but I love the world. I love the magic system. Again, it's a really fascinating magic system and a lot of unexpected like relationships. Things that I did not see coming happened. I'm definitely picking up Ruthless Gods at the beginning of next year before the last book comes out so that I can read the last book. Coming out on March 6th is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is a 4th book in the Truly Devious universe. From my understanding, it is going to, so you have like the trilogy, the Truly Devious trilogy. It's going to be the start of like a new mystery. I'm very excited. I'm finally reading the last book in the Truly Devious series and I'm loving it. So I'm so excited for this book. I love everything Maureen Johnson writes. On April 27th is The Nobleman's Guide to Scandals and Shipwrecks. This is a third book? Yeah, third companion book, I guess, to A Gentleman's Guide of Vice and Virtue. I freaking love those books. The first one is A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Second one is A Lady Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. This one is going to be following Monty and Felicity's younger brother. So I'm pretty sure it takes place several years in the future of where we last left our characters. On May 18th, we have the second book in the Dreamer trilogy, Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the spin-off series to The Raven Cycle, and it follows Ronan and has some like Adam sprinkled in there as well, like Blue and Gansey kind of make appearance. Maybe they'll make more appearances in the second book, who knows. But I loved it. I really, really loved it. It was weird, which I love about Maggie Stiefvater's writing. It's always like kind of weird, kind of unexpected. So I'm so excited for the second book. I'm also excited for the third book, which I think might actually be coming out at the end of 2021. I don't think they have like an official release date, but I saw a rumor of it was going to come out at the end of 2021. The last book that has been announced so far is Pumpkin by Julie Murphy. This is the third and I believe final book, she said, in the Dumpling universe. As with her book Puddin', which also took place in the Dumpling universe, she said that several of our favorite characters are going to make appearances, but it is actually going to be focused on a character we have not met yet. I love Julie Murphy. I love her books. I love the plus size representation that she has in all of her stories. It is so necessary because we do not get enough plus size rep. So the second half of this is going to be books by authors that I love or have read other books from that I'm excited for their next books to be coming out, but they aren't like sequels to any of their previous books. And also authors that I haven't read any books by, but I'm just excited because they sound like cute books. So first coming out on January 5th is One of the Good Ones by Micaiah and Maritza Moulet. These are the authors of Dear Haiti, Love Elaine. They are a sister writing duo, which is super cute. I love that two sisters are writing together. How fun. This book does sound very serious, and it does sound like it's going to be a kind of difficult read. It is about a teen social activist who is killed under mysterious circumstances after attending a social justice meetup. It then follows her siblings, I believe her like younger siblings, as they try and like grapple with the fact that people are like putting her up on this pedestal, saying all these things about her and treating her not really as human but as a martyr for their cause. It discusses the issues of like why some people are considered one of the good ones while other people who have faced police brutality are swept under the rug because they aren't seen as perfect citizens or whatever. It sounds beautiful. It sounds heartbreaking. I did really love Dear Hades, so I'm very fascinated to see how they handle this one as well. Coming out on February 2nd is Makeup Breakup by Lily Menon, which is the pen name for Sandhya Menon, who is the author of the When Dimple Met Rishi series. So this is her pen name for she is writing adult romance, which is so exciting. I loved her YA romance, so I'm excited to see what she does with adult romance. I believe this book is a little bit of like an enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers, and the main guy has created an app that is considered the Uber of dating or the Google Translate of failing relation. Like, that's what it says in the synopsis. I'm not positive what's going on, but it's like, it's going to be an office place rivals to lovers romance, which sounds really cute, and I love her writing, so I'm excited. Also coming out on February 2nd is Muse by Brittany Cavallero, who is the author of the Charlotte Holmes series, which is a series that I absolutely love. I loved that. Oh, so good. So this book is an alternative timeline history. A historical fiction alternative timeline type book. Basically, it is in an alternative universe where America is a kingdom instead of having like a presidency. They have a monarchy. It sounds fascinating. I don't know too many more details. I know that the main character's father is an inventor, and there's something that happens at the World's Fair, which is always a good time. And also there is a war brewing, so it sounds fascinating. I'm very excited. I love Brittany Cavallero's writing style, so I'm very excited for this one. Coming out on February 9th is A Fell Love Story by Leigh. This is a sort of Romeo and Juliet-esque, like, forbidden romance between two teenagers who are the kids of rival pho shops. So it sounds really cute. Also, I love pho, so excited to read about that. Also coming out on February 9th is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This is a fantasy about a girl who has been shunned by her community because she has like tainted blood. Her blood, they do some sort of ceremony where they see what color people's blood is. And if it's red, it means you're normal. If it's like a different color, like gold, like hers, that means it's bad and it's tainted, whatever that means. But she finds out that that actually means she has a rare gift, and she is recruited to fight for the Empire in a war. It sounds really interesting. I haven't read anything by this author before, but I have been seeing some pretty good reviews around, so I'm excited for it. Next out on March 9th is Act Your Age, Evie Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the third and I believe final book in the Brown sisters. Evie Brown is like one of my favorite sisters in Chloe Brown. I haven't read Dani Brown's book yet, but I'm so excited to read both of them. Evie Brown is a very like eccentric out there character, and it sounds like it is going to be a little bit of an enemies to lovers style romance, which I love. It's my favorite trope. I will never be over the trope. It's the best. Coming out on March 9th is Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. This is about a girl who gives anonymous love advice in her school, and she like gets caught by this popular guy, and so in order for him to keep her secret that she is the person who is giving this advice, he makes her help him get his ex-girlfriend back. It sounds really cute. It sounds like there's probably going to be some like miscommunication going on, which isn't my favorite trope, but this one does sound like a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for it. Coming out on April 20th is Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli. Did I make this entire video just to brag once again that I have this arc? Maybe. Literally every time I look at this book, at the fact that I have this book, I just cry a little bit. Why am I holding it like I'm gonna hit someone? I don't know. Anyway, Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli, aka one of my favorite authors. Just, she is incredible. Her writing is so beautiful. She writes such real characters. They may not always be perfect, but they are so real. This book has to do with two best friends who are both theater kids at their school, which like, wow, is this gonna bring up some trauma for me and like high school theater? Maybe, but I'm excited for it. They end up both crushing on the same guy. It sounds like there's gonna be some like maybe a love triangle, maybe not. We'll see what happens exactly. But I'm gonna be reading this super soon, so like keep your eye out for the reading vlog where I'm reading this, because coming out on May 11th is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is the same author as Beach Reads, which kind of took BookTube by storm this year. It is a second chance romance, which seems to be her like MO, so like very excited for it. From my understanding, it's about these two people who are best friends. They go on vacation together. Something happens when they're on vacation together that kind of like puts a little problem in their relationship, and then this is them going on vacation together several years later. So sounds cute. I love Emily Henry's writing. I really, really loved it in Beach Read, so I'm excited to see what happens in this book. Coming out on June 1st is one of my most anticipated reads, and that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Casey McQuiston is the writer of Red, White, and Royal Blue. One of my all-time favorite books. I freaking love it. I am so excited for One Last Stop. I cannot even begin to explain how excited I am. It sounds like it involves like time travel, which is super cool, and it sounds a little like a Hallmark Channel movie-esque, but make it queer, which makes it like 100 times better. Literally, when the cover of this book was released, I screamed. It looks so cute, and I'm so excited. And if anyone has an arc and wants to send it to me, hit me up. I'll take it. I'll do whatever. I don't care. Last but not least, coming out on June 22nd is My Contrary Mary. This is written by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows, who wrote the Lady Jane series. So it's like My Lady Jane, My Plain Jane. Yeah, those ones. So this one is going to be centered around Mary, Queen of Scots. I love these books. They're very like satirical. It has a lot of like tongue-in-cheek humor, which is like my favorite kind of humor. I'm super excited for the rest of their like Mary series, because they're now releasing 3 books that are like Marys. So yeah, those are the books coming out in 2021 that I'm super excited about, at least the first half of 2021. I'm sure there are going to be so many coming out the second half. I cannot wait. What book are you most excited for in 2021? Are you as excited as me for how many incredible books are coming out? Let me know down in the comments below what you're looking forward to. into next year. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe, and of course hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time, bye! This is me talking to Edit and Catherine right now. What's up, Edit and Catherine? This video is a mess, and I'm sorry. I love you. You're doing great. Maybe buy yourself some coffee or